Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today to celebrate the launch of our 30th volume of the San Joaquin Literary Journal. After last year's revival following being doormat for 3 years, we are excited to continue with our previous executive editor, Haley Mechele's resurrection of this beloved journal. My name is Katie Quigley, and I am the co-executive editor alongside Dawn Parker, with fellow editors Michael Bolt, John Kahn, Joseph LeForge, Diara Spencer, Markis Turner, and Brandon Zong. This San Joaquin Review seeks to create a space to reaffirm, encourage, and professionalize the creative capacity in our writers. We promote the tremendous cultural and social diversity of Central California, welcoming local writers of all genres and identities, no matter your gender, race, age, sexuality, or level of authorship. Our mission is to examine the society in which Our mission is to encourage writers and readers to reflect on and share unique perspectives that examine the society in which they live. We encourage works that challenge readers to think outside the norm and expand the definition of conventional literature in creative and experimental ways. We seek to foster community and creativity in a collective, welcoming space for members to write, share, and receive feedback on their work. At this time, we'd like to take a moment to offer a land acknowledgement. The Fresno State campus sits in the midst of the San Joaquin Valley, a valley rich in the traditions and representation of Native American peoples and cultures. We are grateful to be in the traditional homelands of the Yukots and Monos peoples, whose diverse tribal communities share stewardship over this land. Along with this acknowledgement, we would like to take time to thank the following for making tonight's event possible: Fresno State's English Department in the Creative Writing Program, Dr. Chapman, Dean of the College of Arts and Humanities, Dr. John Bayan, Chair of the English Department, Jefferson Beavers, Lisa Galvez, and Angelina Leaños in the English Department, and Professor Courtney Hughes, our faculty advisor in the English Department. Just an announcement before we get started, there are some light snacks, coffee, and water for your enjoyment, so please help yourself. We have a signature and half on your right, and then on your left we have decaf and oat milk. So our first reader of the day will be Angelina Leaños, who will read her poems Departing as Unclaimed and To Birth an Ancestral Crown. Angelina is a Ventura County Youth Poet Laureate emerita and a second-year MFA student at Fresno State. She regularly serves as a Poet Out Loud coach and a poet teacher, mentoring youth in the poetry recitation and creative writing. Additionally, she is a member of the California Poets in the school's board of directors and was a reader for the 2023 Philip Levine Prize. Her work has been published by Urban Word, Flower Song Press, and the Chicanx Writers and Artists Association, Arcana, Fruit Slice, and others. Please welcome Angelina.
So I'll be reading my poems in reverse order, if that's okay. So To Birth an Ancestral Crown first. Okay. To birth an ancestral crown. Combine honey and blood in the vessel of your throat. Rechazó el procedimiento. Pluck tears from your bed for bitterness. This shouldn't be a ritual you savor. ¿Por qué no? Es un miembro a cambio de una vida. Name your cup after the one you grieve. Dice que las oraciones son suficientes. Drink. Leave no drop unloved. Your grievance lives in you now. ¿Y si Dios no responde? Now you may cleave your tongue to save your ancestors. Or you may apocalypse the bloodline. Your choice is now law. Enter God. My second poem is titled Departing as Unclaimed, and it's inspired by my Dervang's Arriving as Lost. There is no defense for how they will fail you. All but one of your sons and daughters absent when the gangrene spreads and leaves you bedridden in the hospital where you will die alone on the eve of a new year. There's no forgiveness I ask on their behalves when they skip your funeral, but pray for ownership of your home, land. Your live body will be too stubborn to pass down. There's no closure your family will find for the wound of your wake. Only the sutures these words will attempt to create as each sibling drifts apart in their arguments. No essay of sorries I can write to make up for the years I offer nothing to you. Foreign tongue I cannot bring myself to hold within my mouth until I am the age my youngest Theo is when we attend your funeral, 19. Poems I've birthed in your name and still more as I court this grief. There will be nothing more to prove you were ever here. No trickle of your name outside of the nights when my tios and abuelo are too drunk and regretful to keep the memories tucked between their teeth, save for this river of poems to carry into your deathland. And when your children fight over who should inherit your life, I will know the answer. I will bring you home.
Thank you all for being here. I'm one of the editors, Joseph, of the SJR. This is an honor and my final time working on this wonderful magazine, so glad to be here with you all. I have the honor of introducing Yeiri Farias, who will be reading her short story, We Are One. Yeiri is currently pursuing her BA in English and plans to get her MFA in creative writing after that. Inspired by her father and maternal grandmother, she fell in love with literature at a young age and has an ever-growing list of books to read and stories to write. Her writing can be found in the Gypsophilia Zine and the Borderline Lit Mag. Please welcome Yeiri.
Hello, everybody. The darkness of my shut eyelids is the same as the darkness that encroaches on me when I open my eyes. I reach around with heavy arms that barely move at my will, looking for anything or anyone that's here with me. I feel dirt, then the wall behind me. I can feel splinters. I stop breathing for a minute, waiting, hoping that I hear someone else close to me. I exhale. After almost suffocating in the silent darkness, it's only me here. I try moving from the spot where I'm sitting, but my muscles feel as if they're made of gum. Finally, I find my small coin purse on my leg. I open it, hoping that my cell phone is inside. It is. I click the power button, and my friends smile at me in the background picture. I try to unlock it, but the password has been changed. It's not much use, I think, when the low battery alert pops up. 3% is all I've got. Darkness clings to me as I move my weak screen around me. I can't call, but at least I can figure out where I am. That's when I notice the dress I'm wearing. Sequins. Silver sequins from my prom dress. Did I go to prom? I tried calling my friends. Maybe we had too much to drink and passed out somewhere. No sound comes out of me, and my tongue feels fuzzy, like a caterpillar I saw at the museum a long time ago. Memories come to me slowly. The date at the museum with blonde hair, blue eyes, and thin fingers that hold my hand sometimes. Who has blonde hair? A splitting headache stops me from remembering names right away, but I can see Jeremy's face in my memory after giving it some effort. I try standing up again, but crash down on the dirty concrete floor. The warmth on my skin increases along with my heart rate when I recognize the cardboard boxes next to me. Christmas is written on the side. I may have ended up in my own backyard. I hear hinges squeaking. I drop my tiny cell phone somewhere in the folds of my dress, but I don't rush to grab it. Instead, I use my hands to cover my eyes from the blinding light coming in. A dark figure appears against the light, and I recognize her within seconds. I want to scream, to ask her for help, but my tongue is still heavy and thick. Rise and shine, baby. My sister greets me, her heels clicking on the cement as she gets closer. I whiz. It's Sylvia. She'll know what to do. My throat burns and I can't speak. I thought you weren't talking to me, Amber. or have you forgotten? She says with an icy tone. She kneels next to me, first to caress my cheek, until I feel the slap. You sure missed out on a party. Jeremy and I had a wonderful time. Her words sting, but I can't even flinch. She moves around my limp legs, and I see her wearing a silver sequin dress like mine. Her long, flowy hair is gone, her pale face now framed with my usual short bob and overgrown bangs. And a white corsage adorns her wrist, my corsage. She sees me eyeing it and tells me, it's mine now. It should have been mine from the beginning, just like many other things, just like Jeremy. You knew he liked me at first, and you still went after him. You just couldn't stand seeing me have something nice. She leans in front of me, her face looking so much like mine that we finally look like twins. I think of the lecture in my English class about fate. I think of our faces mirroring each other until we were 14. We look like the same person once again. Sylvia, I try again, but another slap from her cold hand on my face silences me. She slaps harder until it turns into punching. Shh, it'll be over soon. She whispers once the punching stops. From a plastic bag, she's pulling out a syringe filled with dark liquid. Hot tears roll down my cheeks, and I think I have blood on my lip. There's a metallic smell in the air now. Through my shaky vision, I see my sister wearing my face and smiling down at me. Thank you.
Our next reader will be Aura Peredia-Garcia, who will be reading two of her poems, Cinema Paradiso and Ancestral Ambivalence. Aura is a fourth-year English major at Fresno State, studying creative writing. She writes about memory, longing, and concepts of identity as a trans Chicanx woman. She has been published in Flies, Cockroaches, and Poets, and is currently working on her novella Azul's film. Please welcome Aura.
Hi everybody, my name is Aura. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you SGR for allowing me the opportunity to read to you all. I think that's a really big privilege to just speak to you guys, but also to listen to such beautiful writers. So the first poem I'll be reading is Ancestral Ambivalence. I had a lot of similarities given to me by my family of my distant military uncle. And so I had a lot of ideas in mind about these familiar histories that are completely separate from me and what it really means to, embrace them or rebel against them. So yeah, I hope you enjoy listening to me read Ancestral Ambivalence. Similarities and mustached uncle who wears a corrosive olive beret. A rifle is handed between his prayers for peace on scabbed knees inside incest homes, desperately seeking, tongues becoming blue to spout piercing, lovely bullets, itching to cry again when I abandon him to balance space between skin and blood. The next poem is Cinema Paradiso, 1988. This one holds a special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite films, and it really taught me a lot about, the loss involved in love and how we have to cope with the love we'll never receive. So yeah, I hope you enjoy listening to this one as well. When will this bloody summer end? In a film, it'll already be over. Cut and there's a storm, is said while you place a hand on my neck, thumb to cheek. A framed woman's silhouette lies behind a white sheet. I count the ridges on your jeans hem. You press thumb to tongue. I watch and wonder, when will I know your favorite film? Until you kiss my right shoulder, then ask, can I put my hand under your shirt? Interlaced, filmed actors profess, there is no future, Salvatore, only the past. I'll never agree with you, never, Elena. Alone, censored cinema kisses appear. I touch a mark made and crave conversations about your favorite film. Thank you guys.
Hello everyone. I'm Markis Turner, humble editor for Grants the Opportunity with the SGR, and I am here to welcome up Celeste Jones, who will be reading Can I Stay and Smoke Cleanse. Celeste Jones is a multimedia artist and writer based in Fresno, California. Originally from the Sierra Nevada mountains, Celeste grew up surrounded by pine trees and rural landscapes. Her work often reflects the complexities of a queer identity shaped by life in these spaces. Please welcome Celeste.
Thank you for the great introduction. So I'm going to start with Smoke Cleanse first, which is one of the pieces I thought I would never stop editing, but it's finally to a place where I'm happy with it, and it started much different than it is now, but I'm excited to read it for you. So this is Smoke Cleanse. There is unwelcomed rage in my soul, a fire that only sizzles out when my feet meet with concrete. But sometimes I like to run with the spark. Then my feet birth another and another until it glares, which I reluctantly keep like a nightlight, here to tease every sin tucked away in my tired body. I met my match in the golden grass, patterns of wind tracing circles of organic gasoline. Orange, then blue, and orange again if you look back too quickly. Do you think my mother knew I'd sparked so many fires? Everyone keeps telling me my actions are clean, but with my family's history in these lungs, breathing gets difficult. I, the fool, a self-portrait pulled last from the deck, a body of smoke curled up into the velvet, spiraling off some cinched stick of incense promising a good night's sleep. This next one's called Can I Stand? It has much different energy. I need to find a field of flowers and lay in it until the ache of my bones dissolves into a cool summer wind. I need the season's rain to wash away what is burnt until the smooth gray blue beneath my eyes is carried down to the riverbed. I need my body to know the lakes like it knows an Epsom salt bath, to soak until I am familiar again with my skin, with my body's kind, soft shape. I need the earth to cradle me in duvets full of moss, sea lavender, and mountain mint. Then maybe I will be ready to rejoin our restless world.
Our next reader is Shannon Matalone, who will be reading an excerpt from her fiction piece, Gemstones and Ashtrays. She's a creative writing major with an emphasis in publishing and editing. Shannon is from Modesto, California, and when she isn't buried in homework, she is spending her free time either writing or reading. But sometimes she is also playing video games or watching movies with her two cats, Izzy and Nova, at her parents' house. Everyone give a round of applause for Shannon, please.
So I will be starting from the beginning of my story. Let me just bring it up. Okay, here we go. They called her Lover. She was beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed, and poised. She was perfect in every way, and they knew it. The modeling agency and her managers thought her beauty was theirs. All of them began to feed her lies and false positivity about her looks and how she should be acting. Everything was scrutinized, and she fell for all of it. She even fell for the love that man that I have to call my dad said he had for her. When she died, no one was there for Lover. It was just me, her daughter, and a couple of gravediggers on a rainy Saturday morning. Because my mother, Laverne Haven, the real person behind the model Lover, was always alone. Let me start at the beginning. My name is Haley Haven, and I'm about to be 28 years old. My mother was all I had growing up. My mom was the epitome of an angel, kind, protective, and beautiful. My mom looked a little like Joni Mitchell, but her nose had a slight hook in it. And her cheekbones weren't as high. Her hair was the color of gold, and she had these deep cerulean blue eyes. Every time I was upset over something, all she had to do was look at me, and it was like I was floating in a calm ocean. Weightless, nothing fogging my brain. I wish I had eyes that powerful, but all I had were these lousy dark brown ones. My hair wasn't even the same shade as hers, too. It was more copper than gold. And while my mom was thin and stood at 5'10", I was about 5'5" and had more curves than I knew what to do with. My mom would always compliment me and say how jealous she was of my looks, but I was jealous of her, too.
Mom could be found in our apartment dancing, cooking, or reading some book she found while out shopping. However, if she wasn't home, then she was next door lending a hand to our elderly landlord, Mr. Bernard, and his wife. She sort of became their caretaker, and that was how we were able to stay in our 2-bedroom apartment on 610 Ashbury Street in San Francisco. The apartment, or Haven Heaven as my mom called it, was our safe place. We decorated the place like it belonged to a 22-year-old college student. Fairy lights everywhere, comfy pillows and blankets, and a giant gray plush couch, perfect for making blanket forts. I had lived in this apartment my whole life, even into college, and graduated with my journalism degree in 2017. My mom and I were always there for each other. She was my best friend, so when my mom got sick, I was ready to help out in any way I could, even though I was barely making enough money to afford my own place in San Francisco. I told her to quit smoking cigarettes multiple times growing up, but she never listened. Her lung cancer was violent and it spread rapidly. She went through chemo and we hoped it would help her fight, but the cancer was too strong. It was Tuesday, September 20th, a month before my birthday, when she died and I didn't know how to cope. I didn't go out and I called in sick to my job at the San Francisco Chronicle as an advice columnist. All I did was order takeout and wallow. I was slowly sinking into myself and I felt like I couldn't go on. I knew I had to tell someone she was dead, but I wasn't ready to say anything yet. That didn't stop my friend Penny from coming to see me and yelling at my front door for me to open it. Penny was one of my longtime friends. I've known her since we were in grade school, and she was one of my coworkers. She was like a big sister to me, even though we were the same age. Penny was also one of my friends who had their glow up in high school, and I can't help but be jealous of her every time I see her. She could have been a model like my mom, but thanks to her parents' genes, she never grew past 5'4". That didn't stop her from looking amazing, though. When I opened the door, Penny stood there with a brown bag from McShane's, a small restaurant that had some of the best burgers in the world, and an angry look on her face. She was dressed in one of her killer outfits, a white button-up tucked in a pair of navy dress pants with some navy heels, heightening her by 2 inches, and her straight, hickory brown hair was up in a spiky 90s bun. Her makeup was a simple smoky eye and some lip gloss, but it accented her charcoal brown eyes and olive skin perfectly. "Why do you like to scare me?" Penny said as she entered my apartment. "Why aren't you answering my calls or texts?" Penny set the bag down, turning her head towards me. She looked me up and down. She looked taken back by my appearance. Just like Penny, I was pretty good at putting an outfit together, but right now I wasn't looking that amazing. I was in a big gray t-shirt covered in old stains, black pajama pants, and a tan cardigan with a hole in the shoulder. And my hair was in a bun, now lopsided from my restless nights. "Why do you look like you pulled an all-nighter for a year?" Penny laughed a little at her joke, and then all she was able to say was my mom's name, and I was on the floor sobbing. Penny was shocked at first, but instantly ran towards me, going right into protective mode. Through a phlegmy, ugly sob, as Penny led me to the couch, I told her my mom was dead. Penny would check on me every day after work. She told her friends at work and the HR department what happened, and I was able to get out of work for a few weeks. I was thankful I didn't have to worry about the piles of emails I was probably getting from people who needed advice. Not that I cared, though. I wasn't thinking about work at all since my mom passed. It wouldn't be the same coming home to an empty apartment. After about a month, and with Penny's help, I was able to get the apartment and myself cleaned up enough to celebrate one of my coworkers' birthdays, which was on October 3rd. That day ended with Penny carrying me back to the apartment, drunk from the bar crawl and upset all over again. According to Penny, I started to drink more that night when a young woman and her mom passed by us. The daughter had a bridal sash on and a tiara. Her mom was wearing the maid of honor sash. I started crying at Penny about seeing that mom and her daughter and how I'll never get a chance to do that with my mom. Penny then said she tried to get me in my bed, but after puking in my mom's toilet, I passed out in my mom's bed. I knew I would never truly get over my mom's death, but I had to face it, even if it was slowly killing me. Thank you.
Our next reader for you all will be Eduardo Espinoza-Gonzalez, who will be reading his poem, Memories on a Screen. Eduardo is a senior at Fresno State's English Creative Writing program. His writing typically addresses topics such as the supernatural, family, and identity. When he's not obsessing over Spider-Man, Ghostbusters, or procrastinating, he can be found writing fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. His work has been published in journals like the High Literary Journal, the San Joaquin Review, and the Qua Journal. Please welcome Eduardo.
Okay. Thank you for the introduction. Okay, so this one is called Memories on the Screen. and I'm reading it off my phone, just for a little bit of irony there. And it goes something like this. Pixels of a fading past flood into my screen. Particles of light reflecting your face. My eyes tell me it's you, but my heart knows it's not the you I knew. Time's firm hands grasp at my tired, aging shoulders, the same hands that pulled us apart. Translucent colors paint versions of us that I no longer feel, like dying embers. Every day slipping farther away in time. Now we're just a couple of adults who were once kids, who were once friends, once family, now no more than strangers in a crowd, strangers tangled in the binds of time. Working 9 to 5s, taxes holding us at gunpoint, rent biting at our heels. You got a new girl and I got lost somewhere along the wave of time. As I hastily pull at the strings of fate, praying for a story to be retold, pleading for something more than a terabyte of forgotten memories. Though I know that distance is necessary for our dreams, walking paths we cannot follow, letting time flow through our hands with the hope to reunite with the you of today.
Our next reader is Eryn Perez, who will be reading her poem, A Woman is a Garden. Eryn Perez is a Mexican-American amateur artist and writer based in Fresno, California. Drawing inspiration from her lived experiences, she explores themes of identity, culture, and womanhood through her work. As a contributor to the San Joaquin Review, she aims to share perspectives and connect with readers on a deeper level. Please welcome Eryn.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you to SJR for allowing me to share my work because it reminds me that I have a voice and that voice matters. A woman is a garden, full of fruit and luscious green grass, with beautiful flowers and trees as tall as a ship's mast. She learned it was best to put up a fence and thorn what was left. No one else would reap what she had sown. Thieves and beggars are quiet. They don't wait for what's grown. This garden isn't a garden at all. Look at this desolate mess. Can't you see? What a bunch of bushes and weeds. It's nothing special at all. She had been fooled before, so much so she fooled herself. I am a garden, but no one can know. Because after all, a garden without walls is not a garden at all. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. We will now welcome Deborah Michelle Bento up here, who will be reading her nonfiction piece, Regrettable Truths. Deborah is pursuing her lifelong dream of earning her creative writing degree, balancing career as a realtor. She crafts poetry, fiction, and creative nonfiction, exploring the themes of love, grief, friendship, and self-acceptance. She has an affinity for travel, old bookstores, independent coffee shops, and finds inspiration by capturing moments in pictures that reminds her of things she's read. Committed to authenticity, Deborah aims to create work that resonates deeply with readers. Please welcome Deborah.
Hi, thank you so much. This is a piece called Regrettable Truths, and admittedly, I've been working on it for 12 years. And a few people in this room really encouraged me to submit it. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who've helped me with this one. It's been very important to me. It is a true story about me finding one of my best friends on his deathbed after a very long fight with alcoholism. So, Regrettable Truths. An obvious odor of hand sanitizer masked the unpleasant sense in the brightly lit waiting area. Every doorway from the sliding glass entry through the maze of waiting patients was equipped with a gray plastic dispenser. Out of nowhere, I was assaulted by the pungent acidic smell of bile from a toddler who vomited on the floor in front of me, and I was momentarily thankful for the cheap Avon perfume and even the hints of body odor from the person seated behind me. Struggling to contain my own nausea, As the toddler's mother held the onesie-clad little boy with vomit and drool dripping from his chin, I clenched my lips together and grabbed vanilla sugar lotion from my purse to distract my olfactory senses with something pleasant. My moment of weakness was cut short by the grimaces of pain that contorted Lane's bloated, sallow face. I watched the pain swell from his shoulders as he adjusted his position, his shallow breathing synchronized with low guttural moans that were brief but telling. Without a word, his blank stare returned to the corner where the dingy beige walls met the pocked white of ceiling tiles. From the moment I wheeled him into the building, he remained quiet, not pensive and withdrawn purposely, but vacant and unfocused. His athletic socks wouldn't stretch anymore over his fluid-filled ankles, and his normally oversized t-shirt was straining to contain his stomach. The toxins trapped in his body for weeks were seeping through his skin, leaving it chafed, raw, and bloody. His signature crooked grin was marred by split and scab-dotted lips. Weakened from the poisons pulsing through his veins, he leaned his shoulder on a pillar which offered added support for his weakened body. It was the only reason he hadn't tumbled out of his wheelchair. As the early winter sun beamed through the wall of the windows, it glinted across his olive green eyes, which were unfairly trimmed with long, bitter chocolate-colored lashes, which were one of my favorite things about him, those eyes. Today his eyes were dim and vacant. There was no sparkle, not even the slightest emotional connection. For years his eyes were my first indication that he was happy to see me, but today I was met with an indistinct gaze that lacked his normal affection. For 2 decades, our truth had always been in his stare. The only truth today was evident by the pale mustard hue that colored the whites of his eyes. Lane was suffering from much more than a kidney infection. My hand trembled when I rested it gently on his knee. I clenched my jaw in an effort to steady my emotion and willed my tears to stay hidden. Without thinking, I squeezed his knee, which broke his trance. He looked down at my hand quizzically, but when he looked up, there was a hint of sparkle, and the right side of his thin, chapped lips turned up in a pained grin. I reached over for his hand. "How you doing there, handsome?" Without a sound, he slowly pulled his hand away, and then in a small whisper, stabbed me in my heart. "Don't touch me." I removed my hand and lifted my chin as the tears I was fighting won. The heat of embarrassment shaded my cheeks, but the rest of my body felt chilled from the disappointment and exhaustion. I wrapped my soft cashmere cape tightly around me in a weak attempt to shield myself from the more barbs, but the damage was done. Tears rushed from my eyes just as I reached the solitude of the emergency room bathroom. My chest ached from hours of stifled sobs, and my eyes burned from wet, sticky flecks of mascara. A bent and dimpled piece of metal hung on the tiled wall to serve as a mirror, and my silvered reflection was distorted, much like my reality. In a vain effort to regain my composure after he'd skillfully sliced open an ancient wound, I slid down the wall to rest on the paper towel-littered floor and catch my breath. The cool water from the damp paper towel across my eyes, my aching eyes, and the smooth, frigid surface were not enough to freeze my newly opened wound. The ache in my heart took control, and the violent sobs won over my attempt at peace. He's going to die hating me. He did this. How did this happen? As my head rested against the stainless steel trash can, I pulled my mascara-stained cape over my head and mumbled, "This cannot be happening." An aggressive pounding on the door alerted me that it was time to pull it together. When I re-entered purgatory, it was even more crowded, and the only seat left was mine. I hope you read the rest online. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Our next reader is Arianna Miranda Tapia, who will be reading her poem, Empty Without. Arianna is currently a junior at Fresno State. Throughout her journey, she writes about the experience that have shaped her and inspired change, all while reflecting on our faith in Jesus. Arianna hopes to continue writing and one day publish her work. Give a hand for Arianna. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arianna. So this is like my first time presenting a poem, so I'm like a little nervous, but here we go. It's called Empty Without. It's a collection, well, one of my poems in a collection of, this is just, okay, let me just get started. Okay, this is Empty Without. I bear the remnants of the fraction I was before him. Never was I whole, just empty instead.
filling up my mind, a broken cup, spilling up the lines, pouring forth frustration, manipulation, outrage. Emotional thoughts spiral out of nowhere. I run to nowhere. His nature instead. Is the sun grazing my skin. Like the air filling my lungs, I skim along the surface, gliding on the water. Soft touches of warmth surrounding me. Am I blessed? He carries me forward without a touch. His words lift me with a gentle hold. In his presence, I finally feel whole. Thank you.
I want to just thank you all again so much for being here. Katie and I, we really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, so our next reader is going to be Stefan Leiva, who will be reading his piece, An Egregious Evil Called the Relentless Rumor. Stefan is a second-year graduate student in the MFA program for creative writing. He is a queer fiction writer who has dabbled in creative nonfiction. His stories center around queer youth and their experiences with identity, relationships, and adolescence. He aims to work as a creative writing professor in the time he isn't writing every novel that comes to mind. Please welcome Stefan.
Thank you everyone for coming. It's so cool to see such a full room, so I'm really excited to read. It's my second time being published in SJR, and I'm very happy to have my pieces published, and this one was one of my favorites. So this is An Egregious Evil Called the Relentless Rumor. Is Adrian Abbott secretly dating Halcyon Hawk? The headline sinks my heart deeper than any floor trap a B-list villain could make. How could I have been so careless coming home from crime fighting? I thought I imagined the flashing lights while using the secret entrance, still wearing my suit. That night, I dreamt of my secret being revealed. Adrian Abbott, CEO of Abbott Enterprises, Citrus Tech, and Bismuth Real Estate, was indeed the masked man of mystery, savior of the skies, the feathered-faced Halcyon Hawk. Instead of the dream coming true, I woke up to a humiliating, career-ruining, life-endangering nightmare. It's terrible, Songbird. I cry as I obsessively browse more articles on the motherboard's towering screen. How did I get mixed up in such a mess? What were you doing in Adrian Abbott's backyard anyway? My steadfast sidekick Songbird asked as he plays with a bird skull decoration, his feet up on the teamwork tactics table. I stuttered for a response. There was a cat stuck in a tree, and I couldn't just leave it. I made up a lie. It will surely not convince Songbird, let alone the press. That makes sense, Songbird replies. You always get caught up in something stupid whenever helping someone that doesn't need it. I don't appreciate the lip from my young sidekick, but if he believes it, maybe it'll persuade the others. Is that something everyone would believe? I ask. Songbird's sudden cackle startles me. No way. Halcyon Hawk is the hero of high intelligence, at least publicly. Everyone knows Halcyon Hawk would never screw himself over like this. They don't know you like I do. Thank you for your input, Songbird. I growl through gritted teeth before exhaling a great sigh. Speaking seriously, this is a dire dilemma. If this innocent civilian is connected to me, his life will be in danger. My sworn enemies will pursue any possible weakness, and a beguiling boyfriend makes brilliant bait. My life as Adrian Abbott is perfect. I'd utterly loathe being targeted for constant kidnappings, like I'm a damsel in distress. Oh, how do I get myself out of this? I bury my head into my hands as I hunch over my seat. Have Adrian Abbott announce a new relationship, Songbird says, attracting my attention. If everyone sees him dating someone else, the rumors will die down, and they'll know that Adrian Abbott isn't dating Halcyon Hawk. The solution sounds so simple, exceptionally easy, too terrific to be true. A tempting idea, my caroling canary companion, I begin, but who could be a potential participant to play the part? Someone who won't exploit the opportunity, or worse, leak the entire operation to any ear listening. I'll do it. The thought makes me chuckle heartily, a true knee slapper. After my laughing fit, I see Songbird scowling at me. Oh, he's serious. I apologize for my outburst, Songbird. I say coolly. I'm confused. You want Adrian Abbott to date Songbird? Not me, dummy. Songbird corrects me. My civilian identity. He could be Adrian Abbott's new boyfriend. You trust me to do it, right? I shift my chair next to Songbird's. Absolutely, Songbird. You're right. There's no one I trust more during a critical crisis, I exclaim. Songbird puppets the bird skull to nod its head. How would you convince the crowd that you're a real couple? A few dates in public, pictures on social media, going official on Facebook, regular relationship stuff, you know? Songbird explains. My silence prompts him to smile at me wickedly. When was the last time you were in a relationship, boss? Enough of that, Songbird, I declare. This plan of yours is possible, but are you sure you want to put your civilian identity through this? You'll be on the arm of a prominent playboy of unfathomable wealth, which means being under the microscope 24/7. Do you really want to lose a life of blissful privacy? Hell yeah, I do, Songbird says, spinning in his chair. Adrian should thank me with a new car. Ooh, do you think he could bribe my professors to pass me? I shake my head at my childish comrade. Even with his immature illusions of grandeur, I trust his skills. How are you gonna get Adrian Abbott to agree to this plan? I've already spoken with him about this. Songbird tilts his head with suspicion. He's willing to agree with any plan that ensures his safety. Firstly, here's how to get into Abbott Manor. The next day, I read one of my favorite novels in a comfy chair to ease my mind and hide from the prying pupils of the paparazzi. My butler greets me in the early afternoon. Sir, you have a guest at the door, Sebastian informs me. Send them away. I'm waiting for a very important person. The young man mentioned there was a fresh rabbit skull on the porch. The words ring a bell in my mind. I'll be right there. I swiftly make my way to the door, where I'm met with a fashionably dressed young man. I recognize his petite frame and smooth brown hair, but his soft features are unlike anything I expected under the mask. He wears a signature smirk. Songbird. Hello, Mr. Abbott, Songbird greets me sweetly. My name is Valerian Vasquez. Songbird sent me. A beauty like him is bound to steal the spotlight from Halcyon Hawk. Indeed he did. Valerian and I orchestrate a series of lavish outings, making sure to catch the eye of every camera in the vicinity. We have commendable chemistry. It seems that we can't help but being a daring and dashing duo no matter the situation. Soon enough, Halcyon Hawk disappears from the headlines for good. Until one evening when Valerian nervously approaches me, phone in hand. Boss, you're gonna want to see this. I examine the phone screen. Adrian Abbott cheating on Halcyon Hawk with a college student? It never ends. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan, for that wonderful story. Last but not least, we have Guadalupe Salgado Partida, who will be reading her poems, Ode to the Modalities of Love, and Exiting the Huesera's Cave. Guadalupe loves reading poetry and sauntering. She has received support from Voices of Our Nation's Art Foundation and is currently pursuing her MFA in creative writing at California State University, Fresno. Please join me in welcoming Guadalupe.
Hi, thank you so much for your time and for granting it to us. It's very precious, especially towards the end of the semester if you're students or if you're teaching. So thank you. So we're going to start with Exiting the Huesera's Cave. So the Huesera is a woman who roams the desert and she collects bones of endangered species and then she sings over them and they come back to life. So if you weren't familiar with her, that's who this poem is about. Okay, so let's begin. The wolf runs from the cave, its feet crackling like embers, the warmth of fur replaced by the crisp coolness of the wind's lips on human skin, wild, wed to no one, and on her 2 feet, running through the desert, laughing. The woman is reborn like countless, others out of a complete skeleton of a wolf. In the belly of the Sonoran desert, the Huesera roams until she has every bone in place, and the skeletons of the past come to light. Thank you. And the last one is about love because we all need a little bit of love, whether it be the universal sense of love, our families, or romantic love, right? So the modalities, Ode to the Modalities of Love. All right. Brimming with a multitude of light, love sinks into the ferns and forages for its oxes of devotion, solders between cavities and rods of ribs attaching them to spine, transmutes a time that makes you foreign into a home in your mother's hands. Love is the air under a condor's wings, a hand that extends towards another hand and smiles, knowing that we are suspended in a miracle. It's this power singular at the start, bursting under pressure to bellow into life. 2. Shooting across the dinner table, the curved comet of your smile cutting across the night sky, adding a point of light that I didn't know could be seen over a wooden table, while a waitress took the plates and others chuckled ceaselessly while clanking glass to cheer you celestially entered my orbit. 3. Resigned to eternity, still, it's love that holds the needle, that threads all lines, yours, mine, your father's coat, my open curtains, and your neighbor's old socks. Thank you so much.
All right, well, that concludes our readings at this journal launch. Let's give our writers one last round of applause for their amazing work. Before we go, I would one more time like to thank all of the contributors to this journal, my co-executive editor Katie, and our amazing team who joined us in helping complete Volume 30 of the San Joaquin Review. So thank you so much, Michael, John, Joey, Diara, Markis, and Brandon. I must also give a special thanks to Jefferson Beavers and Courtney Hughes for overseeing and guiding me and Katie on this project from beginning to end. And thank you all for joining us to celebrate these writers' achievements. We hope you enjoyed the event. If you came a little later, we have some light snacks, coffee, and water for your enjoyment, so please help yourself. And I hope you have a great rest of your day and a good night. Thank you so much.